Bam, my friends, here we go again. I have a surprise. You may have seen it. A new ball we have. But what is it? We have a Silen basketball here. But I will tell you why 90s kids didn't like such a ball. And why? Because it was too loud. Intro. So my friends, now we go into it. Silent basketball. Here you can read it. In the package, still in, that is important. And I will tell some things, because we had such a ball in the 90s, there we will come to. But first of all, I have an example here from Smith Toys for under 10 euro. You get this ball, They have two balls, one is without a package. There I don't know if it is the same price. But here you get it with the package. Very cool. Where do you get such a package? Here in my country, my area, you get never a package. So wow, that is pretty cool. I have played it already, but I wanted to show you that is like in the 90s, and you see that, wow, Smith Toys. And there we come also, because before Smiths there were Toys R Us, and there we got our balls. But I will show you the silent and famous basketball, Oh. So here we have it, a soft ball, you can dribble it, So, but there we come to the point. You have seen now, a year ago around, everyone has made a review about a silent basketball. Boy, the new sensation, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, when you are young, you will not know it. Everything okay. But for the people who lived in the early 90s, I don't get it. When you have played their basketball, you had such a ball at your home. It looked not like a basketball, but like a other ball, a football. We all had such balls. But I will tell you, the reviews of those. Well, you see now that was the trend, because they are money fame, money fame YouTubers who see, now a new trend, I have to bring in that ball. Do you think most of them will play this? They send it back afterwards, that is the truth. Money fame, click fame, they have always to go with, now that is in trend, I have to bring in this ball. And then the things, it doesn't, it's completely silent, that is a joke, Of course it will make a noise. I mean, I don't get this, I get it, because they are money fame, that is the thing behind. But I will tell you something about the silent basketballs. So, we kids from the 90s hated such a ball. And I will tell you why. Because first of all, I told you it was too loud, Yeah, the name silent basketball is true. It is silent, but it's still, you hear something. But the problem is, we live most of the times in a flat. And when I dribble this ball, you will hear it under me. The people who live under me will hear it. And that we knew in the 90s, early 90s, And that was the problem, because people came up and said, hey, you are too loud, You are too loud. We will play then a session on a ring, which I have since 1990 or 1991. I cannot tell exactly. There we will play now this ball, then I can show you that, And the other thing is, the ball was too big. Too big. I mean, now you will think, but a basketball. This is even a little bit smaller than the original ball, maybe. Depends which silent ball you have. Yeah, but this was too big. Why? Because you damage all the things in a flat. That was the next problem. You were shouted, hey, this ball, you make everything, you damage everything. So we used other balls which were much better. No one liked that big ball in the flat in the 90s, So that is the history background. Now we will play in a few minutes some balls. And there exists a few different models, But one complete different story to nowadays, I think it is a great ball, even for home. But I will tell you the difference to us from the early 90s when we used all those balls, and I show you other examples, than nowadays. And now we go to the court, let's do it. So here we are, my friends. Watch at this ring. This ring from Boston Celtics, there I played in the 90s, 1990, 1991. Since then I play exactly here on that ring, in the same position. And there we used such soft balls, so come on. And then people, they bought a new sensation, this, that, blah, blah, But of course, the name Silen Basketball, maybe it is a copyright name, that I don't know. And of course, that it looks like a basketball, that we didn't have, We wished us this. But we had footballs and they were almost the same size, Maybe a little bit smaller. But we dribbled with this, We have tried this. And it was the same soft ball like this, A form ball. And I tell you, every kid which I knew back then when I was little, every single kid had such a ball at home, But most of the time the smaller version. Because there we could play better. But really everyone had such a soft ball at home to play football and basketball. These were the two things what we did in our flats, Because there were not basketball courts around this and that. So we used always the flat as our playground. But now comes a complete different part to nowadays. Because nowadays the people use it as a dribble ball, to dribble it, And that is a thing which we never did in the early 90s, I cannot remember. Dribbling was completely nonsense to us, Why? You have to imagine that. That was before the FIBA 3-3 was, That was before the and one time was. And nowadays young people don't even know what and one was. Most of them, or many of them, where all those dribbling and those tricks were created for the public. We have seen the Harlem Globetrotters, that we have known. Wow, how crazy, this is like magical, We could never imagine how this would function. There was no internet, no games, there was almost nothing. NBA Jam, but this was also before NBA Jam came out, It was 93, 4, 5, the arcade game, then later on the console games, SNES and Sega Mega Drive. And there we used this ball, And also before Adidas started it with their street ball pick, And so dribbling to us was, no one wanted to dribble. For us kids, we wanted to have a basketball ring to shoot in a ring. That was basketball to us. And when there was no ring, that was boring. Because we didn't have known those tricks and style. So we used it only to hit it to a ring, And when we had a ring at home, I had the luck to have a real one, That was a big deal. Then we had those small ones, I also had those. And when we didn't have one, we used a garbage, A plastic garbage, and there we hit it in. And we played in our flats, you see it, we have long, those, I don't know how it's called, but those long etages. And there we played basketball and football. And the doors were our goals for football, And so now tell me, when we come to the football and then to basketball, when you play with this ball by such a small goal, it is very easy that the ball does not go in. So that is the first thing why we didn't like such a big ball. The second one was, that comes now with basketball and football, because it destroyed everything around. When there were things on in your flat, from your parents or grandparents, you destroyed it because it is heavy. For a soft ball that has a really, you hear it, bam, bam, a really bounce, And so you damaged all in your flat. So we used smaller size balls, And there we had the football, that was the big one, and there existed the small version of the football that was around half of this size, and that was the perfect thing. Why? Because from football again, that was much more difficult to grab it, so you could shoot a goal, but from basketball on, now we come to the ring, and then I show you another ball. The small version was perfect. Why? Because this ball was too loud, Listen to that sound. Wait. And now watch. That was completely stupid. That was really loud, So we never played this, and it was plastic, Back then, there didn't exist stable rings, Now you have other things which don't break, but here I will show you that with the other camera. Wait. So now watch for your own with the other camera. And here we played, you know, in such long things, that was perfect. The goal was here and the other door where we are standing where the basketball was. Here we could make some wide shots, you know, and now you will see this ring, what I mean with loud, you know, because that was plastic, you know. Back in the days, that was great, NBA, Boston Celtics. You hear that? I mean, this is a little bit, when there is a little bit pressure on, it break out. You see, that is, bam, broken. Exactly of that. I mean, such a big ball like this, which is heavy, around 300 grams, you know. I mean, this is hitting there from wider, this breaks out. And so you could never use such a ball, you know. That was really bad. We didn't like it. And so we used the small version of this ball. And that was much greater, because first it was not loud. Even when you played here, the people didn't complain. The board got not damaged, you know, and for the football it was even better. And I have another ball, and that was the creme de la creme ball back in the early 90s. So when you're a kid from the early 90s, this ball was it. When you had this ball, you were the king. Now watch. This was it. That football, with that, we played basketball and we played football. For football, fantastic at home, you know, very soft, doesn't hurt much. And also, we shoot only, you know. With the small one, we dribbled, and with that, we shoot always free throws. To us, shooting was the best, you know. Now, with that ball, when you watch, you hear it is not that loud, you know. Again, to the ring and to the board, you hear. When I hit it harder, you have now heard it, and there we come, because I told once, before we go on with the Silen ball, my shooting, wait. So, with that ball, exactly from here, that was an Uven back in the days, the same distance, I made free shots. I made here, I think, thousands of free shots, and that is why I have this throw, like this, bam, and I go always back, not like boom, I go back. Why? Because I never wanted to hit the plastic, always that it goes so in, when you play that morning, night, always from here, now watch, bam. You see, you can only do it like this. I mean, I have learned this as a kid for years here. Every day I played, every day, bam, you know, bam. And this is why I have this throw, you know. And by my 3-point shots, I push it out. Why? Because when we were so young, the basketball court, the ring was on the original height. We had to make this as little kids that we got that height, you know, bam. So this is the reason. But here, always hours for hours, you know. And one thing, I made a 360, wanted to make something, and then I landed on my feet. Bam! Here on the outside of my feet, I was crying at the floor, you know. But I couldn't go to the hospital. After the next day, I was allowed to go to hospital. And what happened? This thing outside was completely out, you know. I couldn't walk for weeks, you know, so that, because I played with socks barefoot, you know. And here we made it, always the dunks, you know. Bam! When we were young and little and on, you know. And I tell you a beside story, when you do that at home for football, never jump here, never ever. I have done this twice and was crushing to the wood. That was like your head is, you know. So we come now again to this ball. Nowadays, when you dribble it, you know, that is absolutely amazing, you know, bam, bam, have to be careful, you know, for dribbling, it is absolutely great. There you can buy it, you know, and of course, when you only choose to make some tricks, you know, bam, 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 you know, wait, bam, you know what I mean? For such things, when you do it, a few minutes, then buy this ball for under 10 euro, you know. But when you train, you say you want to train with this half an hour, 3-4 days a week in your flat, then buy the better ones, which have channels in, you know, which jump better and on and on. There are different forms, you know. There it is a great option, you know. The name Silen basketball is new, you know, that it looks like a basketball, but such balls we knew since the early 90s and maybe the 80s, you know what I mean. Such balls always existed in Toys R Us. And that it is, you know. But for nowadays, great. But it is still loud, you know, loud in a flat. Believe me, here the people came under me, they made ring, 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 too loud basketball, too loud, you know. The time when all the great teams were Patrick Ewing and on and on and on, you know. Our heroes, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In that sense, great ball, 10 euro, try it out if you want for dribbling. But the Silen balls are nothing new, you know, it's only marketing. In that sense, we see us again. Until then, bye and ciao.